So I'm going to talk about it a little bit today and hopefully let you guys know what you can do to be a voter, and hopefully I can share some resources with you as well in case you're stuck, if you're unsure of how to register, or you just need some help in general. Also, just wanted to point this out, I'm wearing my I Am a Voter hoodie because I love this. Great way to show people that you're registered to vote and you're ready. So like I said earlier, I know people are still joining. It is National Voter Registration Day, so I wanted to share some resources that would be great for you guys if you aren't registered or if you just need help. So one of my favorite websites is vote.org, and I can type a comment and I'll pin it for you guys so you can see that. Basically, if you go to vote.org, there's a drop-down menu where you can select your state. So whatever state you're in, it will provide all the resources that you need. So let's say I live in Idaho. I can pick Idaho. There's a drop-down menu, and it'll tell me where I need to go if I want to register to vote online, where I need to go if I want to register to vote in person, tells me where I can drop off my ballot, when my voter registration deadline is, that whole thing, it gives you all that information, which I believe is super duper important. So if you guys have any questions or if you're curious about registering to vote, you can feel free to ask me below. I see that we have a question right here. That's not, I was asked a question about my hair, but this is about registering to vote. So just a little bit, I want to talk about why it's super duper important, and this is kind of the same presentation that I give to a lot of elementary, middle, and high school students, kind of about why voting is so important. So here's just a couple quick facts to know. Millennials and Gen Zers make up about 40% of the voting populace, which is a really significant number, especially when you consider the fact that the youth voting population is awful. We have the lowest voter turnout at the polls, and we have the potential to make a really big difference, and yet as young people, we choose to not do so. So I really encourage you, if you're a millennial or if you are a part of the Gen Z generation, use your voice and use your vote. It is so incredibly important, and you have the potential to make an incredible impact in this country. We have so much more power than we know, especially when you look back in history and all of the movements that young people have started and how much of a difference we can make in elections. It's really significant. So if you're a part of those two generations, know that your vote really does count, and you have a huge potential to make a difference. Second, this is a number that is usually really shocking to people. There was 92 million eligible citizens who chose not to register to vote in the past presidential election, so back in 2016. 92 million people, which is crazy to me. That is such a significant number. And I always tell people, when I tell kids that statistic, they're kind of blown away, especially because 92 million is something that's kind of hard to grasp. And I always tell them, you don't want to be a part of that statistic. When somebody says that there was 92 million people that didn't register to vote, it would feel so good to know that I'm not a part of that number. I'm registered to vote, and I understand how important my vote is, and so I'm not going to let myself be a part of that 92 million. And hopefully, and I'm crossing my fingers with all of the work that everyone is doing, especially today and throughout this entire election process and this year, I'm praying that that number is a lot lower than it was in the previous election, and I feel like it will be. I'm hopeful. I feel like young people are really stepping up to the plate and understanding why our vote is so important. So if that sounds like you, if you know you're a part of that 92 million, don't let yourself be. Go to vote.org, pick out your state from the drop-down menu, and register to vote right now. If you live in a state that offers online voter registration, the process is so incredibly simple. It will take you 5 minutes, and the most information you need is your driver's license number or some sort of state-issued ID. So it's a super simple process. A lot of people think it's going to be really time-consuming or confusing, and that's what stops them or hinders them from registering to vote. I guarantee you it is a super simple process, and you have nothing to worry about. And I've said this before, but if any of you need help, there are a million Instagram accounts you can go to, and I will type up a comment actually with some information, but also you can reach out to me. I'm a great resource if you guys need any help, or if you're kind of scared to reach out to those bigger accounts or maybe people that you don't feel comfortable talking to. I would love to be a resource for you and help any of you who want to register. Someone asked me, did you vote yet? And if so, who are you voting for? So I actually have voted. I voted in the primary election a couple months ago, and I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. Miss America is a nonprofit, and as a representative of that organization, as Miss America's Outstanding Teen, I have to remain nonpartisan. And frankly, I've said this a lot before too, I don't care who you vote for. I really do care that you use your voice, and it means so much more to me that you're registered to vote and you actually use your registration and you go out to the polls or you fill out your ballot at home, whatever you may be doing. That means so much more to me than the specific candidate you're voting for. And so I always tell that to people. My beliefs don't matter when I'm talking to you guys about voter registration. What really matters to me is that you're using your voice, because that's really what I always tell people. You know, your voice matters, and you need to use it because it is such an important tool. And I think it's something that we take a lot for granted, especially in this country. So, and especially if you're a woman. I posted about this on the MAO Teen account, about the 19th Amendment and how women were only granted the right to vote about 100 years ago, or exactly 100 years ago. And in the big scheme of things, 100 years really isn't that long, especially because the 19th Amendment really only granted full voting rights to white women. It wasn't until later on when women of color were able to vote without restrictions. So I think that's something really important to keep in mind, that voting is a struggle that a lot of our ancestors have gone through and fought so hard for. And so I think it's so important to use that privilege. You were given that privilege. It's a right that you have. The least you can do is exercise that right. It is so important. It is the foundation of our democracy in this country. So if you're not using your vote, you're not using the most important tool that you've been given as a citizen in this country. So that was my little spiel. I will stay on stories the rest of the day on the Miss America account, which you guys can go to for more resources. And I figured it'd be easier because you can go back to those, whereas a live, once it's over, it's over. But thank you so much to all of you who hopped on. I hope this kind of inspired you to register. And National Voter Registration Day is a huge deal and something that's super duper important to me. So thank you everyone that got on. I hope you have a great day.